Oregon Governor Tina Kotek announced this morning that she wants the Department of Transportation to slow down on its tolling plans. The first tolls were scheduled to start late next year in the fourth quarter of 2024. Instead, Kotek ordered a pause until January of 2026, so that's a delay of just over a year. We asked the governor's office for an interview as soon as the news came out this morning. I wanted to talk with her about the delays and the need for tolls. So far, they've not responded, so you're not going to hear from her directly tonight. Those tolls were set to start on the Abernathy and Tualatin bridges in Clackamas County. The Abernathy Bridge is being worked on right now to add lanes and protect it against earthquakes. Tolling would be added there to pay for that work and also to ease traffic jams. Political leaders and residents pushed back hard against the tolling plans. They're concerned about the cost of crossing the bridges. Working estimates put the tolls at between 60 cents to $2.20 per trip, depending on the time of day. That's per crossing. They also worry about traffic nightmares in their neighborhoods as drivers get off the interstate to avoid the tolls. So here's what's happened. Last week, a group of lawmakers from that area, Clackamas County, introduced a bill in the legislature which would force a pause in the tolling for 2 years. That pushed it out to January of 2026. But instead, the governor issued the pause of her own, and legislative leaders set up a new committee to monitor ODOT's infrastructure repair and modernization plans. That includes efforts to mitigate the impact of tolling on vulnerable communities, according to a press release from lawmakers. It's an interesting reason for the pause, since ODOT has apparently already studied the issue extensively. Here's what Brendan Finn, the director of ODOT's tolling program, told me in mid-April.
If there's one thing we've heard more than anything else, it's the impact that it would have on those that are currently impacted by having low incomes. And we've been directed, and also something that we've initiated as well as an agency, to look at implementing a low-income discount or exemption program. So we've looked around the nation, we've looked around the world on what some of the best practices are, and we'll be forwarding on to the Oregon Transportation Commission a recommendation that they will consider when they establish rates to have this program up. We are the first in the nation, I do like to brag a little bit about this, that has considered that and plan on implementing a low-income discount or exemption program prior to actually turning on tolls.
But lawmakers in the Clackamas area and the governor apparently were not impressed. So the collection of tolls will be pushed back at least a year. But don't confuse that with tolls are not going to happen. They are still very much the funding mechanism of choice right now for the Department of Transportation, an option they've been working on for 6 years. ODOT's director, Chris Strickler, released a statement today saying, in part, implementing a modern toll program for the first time in Oregon requires extensive planning and community engagement. We understand our drive to meet legislative intent to implement tolling quickly left communities and elected officials feeling unheard. He goes on, we appreciate the guidance of our elected leadership that our top priority should be to set the program up right. Together we can design a tolling program that achieves our shared goals of ensuring safety, mitigating congestion, supporting our economy, and reducing pollution. Okay. Now, I know some of you are supporters. You tell us that there are tolls all over the country, that they do work well for regulating traffic flows, and that if we want nice things, we have to pay for them. But there is a second camp very much against the tolls, and Dean Scher would like to talk to you. He's the creator of something called IP4. He's trying to gather 200,000 signatures to force a statewide vote. If passed, his initiative would allow people within 15 miles of a planned tolling area to vote to approve or to stop that toll. He says if you're against the tolls, don't relax just because there's a pause.
Folks may lose interest, but the reality is this is just a pause. It's a pause until 2026. It does not slow down the plans. It might slow the starting of the credit cards being charged, but it is only a pause. IP4 puts the control in the hands of the people through a vote before tolls. So it's absolute.
Scher is hoping to gather enough signatures by this time next year and take the issue out of the hands of the legislature.
And the idea is that it would force transparency by those that are planning to implement tolls. It is not no on tolls. It's not yes on tolls. It just says we get the right to understand how tolls are going to be used, whether they're going to sunset, what are the amounts, all those kinds of things up front. It is an initiative petition, which means we need to sign, we need to gather 200,000 signatures to get it on the ballot, and we're targeting the 2024 ballot.
I have not decided whether I support the movement or not, but I know that a lot of you are interested. Dean's website is votebeforetolls.org. In the meantime, what do you think about this pause? Are you feeling a sense of relief, or are you worried about tolls no matter when they start? Let us know, will you? Email us at thestory@kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail. The number is 503-226-5090.